What's going on, guys? MMuniz here. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit quicker than normal, at least I think it is, and it's pretty much a news update. And it's going to be about QYLD's recent distribution. It was just announced yesterday, less than 18 cents per share. Why is it so low? Well, that's what this video is about. We're going to talk about that. RYLD, similar scenario, considerably lower than what you've been seeing. What can we expect in the future? Well, for the TLDR, too long didn't read, or too long didn't watch the rest of my video, we're most likely going to see continued share price decay, and we're also most likely going to see dividends continue to decrease. That does not mean that it won't go back up. I do expect it to go back up somewhat, but not as much, and we'll talk about that. But I just want everyone to know and realize that what we're seeing now is not unexpected. With the underlying index, the NASDAQ 100, crashing significantly, being down 30% year to date, QYLD is seeing similar returns where it's dropped drastically. And what we need to know at the end of the day is that the distributions are generally going to be 1% or less per month. Now, there's only been 2 times in the QYLD history that I was able to find where it was more than 1%. One of them was in December of 2021, and that was the short-term capital gains distribution that the company announced was not something that would normally be expected. So going off the norms, if the share price continues to go down, the dividend is going to continue to go down. Now, a bit more of an explanation to that is when you have something that writes covered calls at the money on the underlying index, just for easy math, if something was worth $100 and you write the covered call at $100, if the asset goes to $110, we don't capture any of that. The best case scenario for something like QYLD would be in a flat market where it goes up and down, where options premiums are pretty high, but we're not seeing a significant bull market or a significant bear market. I'm just going to show you real quick what we're looking at in terms of distributions and why this all makes sense. So as you can see here, now the most recent dividend announced here is April 18th, and it was 20.5 cents. However, that is not actually the most recent one. It was just announced yesterday that it was going to be just under 18 cents, and I'll show it on the screen. But if we look, all of these dividends are always going to be less or equal to the actual price for that month. Now, you're going to see some variance, obviously, like right here in March, but generally they're very, very close to either being under or 1% of the actual share price. Now, we did see a significant dividend or distribution in December, which I've talked about, but as we go down, we haven't seen a dividend as low as 18 cents a share since 2019, and that was a 16.5 cent dividend. So with the share price going down significantly, we're going to see the same thing. Now, if we look at RYLD, it's going to be the exact same thing. You're seeing pretty high dividends, 23 cents, 24 cents, 23.5 per share. However, the most recent dividend was announced at 21 cents a share, and that is because RYLD's price is significantly decreasing. If we look at their actual prices, we're going to go to Google Finance, and we're going to type in QYLD. We're going to compare this. We'll do 1 year. We'll compare it to RYLD, which should be right there. Okay. So you could see this, even in 5 year, we do have these massive decreases. So the question is back in March 2020, the COVID dip, did the dividends decrease significantly compared to prior and also right now? The answer is yes. I'll tell you it is yes. But let's go back to March 2020. So where's March 2020? So March 2020 went from a 24-cent dividend per share down to an 18-cent dividend per share, and you see that the price was decreasing during that time, and then it started to go back up, and once again the dividend started to go back up. So what does this all mean? Well, with the current state of the US, inflation is through the roof. The Federal Reserve's doing what it can. Jerome Powell is raising rates to try to get this under control, but we can expect continued rates rising throughout the rest of the year. As this happens, I'm not a genie or a financial advisor, but more than likely stocks will continue to go decline as well. If that happens, our share price for QYLD is going to continue to go down. So if our share price gets to $15 a share, which is not impossible, then more than likely our dividends are going to be 15 cents per share. So if you were counting on a 20 cent per share dividend, then you are now making 25% less per month. If you're retired or in the financial independence, retire early community, the FIRE community, any of those things where you rely on QYLD for passive income, pay your expenses, this is very important. So just plan accordingly. Realize that it's not rocket science that this is happening. More than likely, we're going to see continued pain, and yes, it is terrible. However, sometimes bear markets and flat markets, you actually can make more money than if you were investing in those tech stocks alone or just in the NASDAQ 100. Because even though both QYLD and something like QQQ are down significantly, QQQ wasn't giving you dividends. QYLD was giving you significant dividends. So if you count the difference, you're actually way ahead for your investment with QYLD. But as soon as a bull market returns, obviously that's not going to be the case. We know with QYLD and RYLD that they write at the money calls. So if the index rises, we don't get to participate in that share appreciation. So it's just important to realize that in bear markets, even though it may seem like the dividends are going to stay the same and you're going to be fine, you do have to realize that they're going to decrease as well. Typically QYLD stays around that 1%, RYLD, and we see the data by looking back at it, Yahoo Finance, Google Finance. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. I do weekly videos on anything personal, finance related, or fitness. And if you have anything else to add, let me know down below, because I'm just trying to learn. I'm just an average guy. I have a passive income portfolio with QYLD and RYLD and NUSI and Divo, all sorts of stuff. And then I have my other investments, which is like VU, VUG, QQQ, all sorts of stuff. So love to hear from you guys. I try to comment back on everyone's, and I will see you on my normal schedule, which is Thursdays. Take care.